Is
Okay.
Craig our unofficial fourth cast member now?
Yes,
Yes.
I should do him like a bot face and add him to the poster. Just eyes glowing there menacingly.
Oh, hold on.
Fucking
I need to.
Skynet tattoo on his lower back.
Well, we have a test. We have a test for this. Craig, what do you think about Tiananmen Square? No answer. Okay, that says a lot.
Craig has left
Yeah.
the chat.
Craig collapses in on itself. As his Chinese handler take him offline.
Oh man.
Craig is just going to stay mute the whole time because he can't believe that we're reading like old shitty books, even though I like these books. But like,
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, he's doing a silent protest.
yes,
I was going to immediately sort of react negatively to your use of the word shitty. But this will be something that we'll be discussing. I can't defend this book, even though, well, no.
Ooh, you didn't like this one?
Well, here's the thing. My feelings on this book are severely mixed. Right?
Like tuna casserole mixed, or?
No, more like oil and water mixed.
Wow.
Yeah, or I don't know, what's a really shitty cocktail that nobody should ever drink? Bloody Marys, I guess. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
I like this though. We'll be able to go back and forth on this because we've been pretty unified in Thongor novels are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Sonja 1 was pretty daggone good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we disagreed on was the ending and Olin. Yes, Olin too. Yeah. Forgot about the guy. I relegated him to the Thongor section of my brain.
The simp.
The simp. Olin
the simp.
Yeah.
There we go.
I just know we're going to have disagreements on the ending again this time around because they kind of gone and did it again.
Yeah, no. I think I know where this is going. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
right. But aside from that, shall we get an intro?
Probably, yeah, at this point.
Or fuck it, we're doing it live.
No.
No.
Remember Tiananmen Square.
Craig?
You're cutting out the Chinese audience.
Oh, fuck. Alright, shut the fuck up. Let's do the intro.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gung-Ho Book Club, a fair college tribe of podcasts featuring the thoughts of 3 online randos on books written by people who've done far more for universal literature than we can possibly hope to. Some of them, anyway. My name is Costin Becheanu, but you can call me Kazi. I've been running the Gung-Ho Geek site and socials and my mouth in some capacity for over 7 years now, hobbying, hanging out with friends, and memeing. Joining me is my longtime friend and gaming partner, Ian.
Remember Tiananmen Square.
Who teaches the English how to properly speak their own language in his spare time, and also sends our Chinese audience scurrying, apparently. Our master of ceremonies for this venture is our resident West Virginian, Cowboy Cam Wooten.
Howdy, howdy.
He is a history teacher, nerd, and big game hunter, and we're hoping at least one of those traits will be of use in this venture, along with his self-avowed sword and sorcery scholar title. Fair warning, we're adults who like to hang out and use adult language together. We're here to read books and talk shit, and we're just done reading Demon Knight, Red Sonja, book number 2 by David C. Smith and Richard L. Tierney, first published in 1982. Copious amounts of nonsense follow. Take us away, Cam.
Well, wait, remember to actually name the authors this time.
I literally did this 3 minutes ago.
Heck yeah.
We're proud of our boy.
Just weaken it real quick. I couldn't even, my keyboard is off to the side here on my workbench in the basement, I didn't even bother to type it in. I just Googled the book. That's why I was asking about the title, because I came up with When Hell Laughs, which is the next one. And then I just copied and pasted it in real quick.
Listen, we're professional podcasters.
Yes.
Very
much. Very much
so.
We got to start off mentioning the cover.
Yes.
Another Boris cover.
Oh, we have
in traditional tradition.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fantastic. I love it.
It's got vibes. I dig it.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know what he was smoking, but
he was definitely on some shit. I mean, having I guess read a little bit more about Boris, his wife Julie, and the fact that they have grandkids now, and that there's like an art gallery of their shared art. And I remember, someone on YouTube that I follow in the hobby sphere went there, and apparently the grandkids worked there. It was like, yeah, and here's my grandmother in a bikini. Which is definitely a mood.
I think the same is true for Frazetta, because Sarah Frazetta, who's his niece, right?
Right, isn't it?
It's not his daughter.
Maybe it's his niece. I don't know.
I think she's his niece. Runs the gallery and the Frazetta Girls socials.
Yes,
and basically is responsible for all of the Frazetta merch that comes out these days.
How about that?
But yeah. Hooray for grandchildren running
nieces
grandparents,
and nephews and all that.
Nieces and nephews.
Yeah, continuing on the legacy of the people.
Yes.
Indeed. I'm just
We
imagining, Vallejo's grandchildren in the art gallery looking at this particular piece of art and just going, and yes, there's my grandmother's tasteful side boob.
Yes. Well, I once came across my grandmother's entire boob.
Oh wow.
In old pictures I found in this basement.
Damn, son.
So yeah. That was fun. I don't want to say grandma was a hottie back in the day, but no, wait, no, I just did.
Let's not go down that road.
Oedipus got nothing on me, dog.
What was that fucking joke from American Pie? You grandmotherfucker.
Oh boy.
Oh brother. Okay, but did you want to say something about the cover, Cam?
That was just I was just talking about just how it's just a good cover and stuff. I'm not sure it really accurately shows
anything in the book. Yeah, it's a comic. It's a comic cover in that regard, and it has nothing to do with the book.
I mean, at least it's a deserty area. We have that going, but
yeah, it could well be on Mars at this point.
There's the crimson aspect of it, which is relevant to what happens in the book.
Sure, maybe at the very end when the whole energies and stuff. Yeah, okay.
When the spoilers
happen.
When the Night of the Demons happen in the Demon Knight book.
Oh no! Roll credits.
There's demons in this book.
And
a night. Wait, there's the passage of time.
Oh wow! Somber, whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of
fucking swig.
The swig. For those of you playing the drinking game at home.
Oh man.
Hopefully, no. Actually, I can't even say that. People are continuing on Len Carter's legacy with those pastiches of his works. Yes. Never mind. Shit, I blocked that from my brain, and then I just remembered it.
I'm sorry.
Let it die. Let it die.
Anyway.
Let it all die. Yes. Anyway.
Back to a better book.
Back to the better book. Much better.
So I like on the cover here, it says, the fiercest heroine of the Hyborian kingdoms caught in a web of sorcery by her own doom-laden destiny. So it's a good, kind of mysterious. Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the light heroine, the Cuban one.
Yeah. And so then I always want to read the back covers of these because I like it, and I imagine like if anybody has seen the the Red Sonja movie, that awesome soundtrack in the background of, she lived in a savage world in an uncivilized age, a world ruled by men and governed by the sword. They called her Red Sonja for her flame red hair, for the smoldering fire of her pride.
And for her red hot pants.
Yes.
Canonical.
Yes.
Not on the cover, though.
No, definitely not on the cover.
So she was falsely charged with the murder of a commander to whom she had sworn allegiance. Red Sonja must flee or be killed without a chance to clear her name. Deep in the desert, she comes upon the mysterious city of Elkad and, exhausted, seeks shelter there. She enters the city against her better judgment, for hanging before the gates are the shriveling bodies of 6 young women, clearly the victims of some bloodthirsty ritual.
Clearly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly.
Since you mentioned the movie, I want to also mention something that I literally found out yesterday, which is that the screenwriter for the Red Sonja movie also wrote for the Poirot movies and the Wooster and Jeeves television series with Stephen Fry Hugh Laurie.
Huh.
Okay.
Talk about an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the guy who did Churchill's speeches also did Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, that's what Robin Williams said anyway.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've never bothered to check that, but it sounds great, so I'm using it.
If Robin Williams said it, then it's canon.
Probably.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, of course, I want to read now the excerpt from the Numidian Chronicles, of course, which is, "Know also, O Prince, that in these self-same days that Conan the Cimmerian did stalk the Hyborian kingdoms, one of the few swords worthy to cross with his was that of Red Sonja, warrior woman out of the majestic Hyrcania, forced to flee her homeland because she spurned the advances of a king, and slew him instead. She rode west across the Turanian steppes into the shadowed mists of legendary."
Fair enough.
My first question is, did we ever hear about the advances of said king who then got slewed?
In the comics.
Oh, of course.
Books. Yeah.
Okay.
I could talk about that at length, but we probably shouldn't.
Let's not. I don't need another 3-hour podcast.
Don't talk about anything at length ever again.
Please don't.
Let's don't.
Let's don't.
We should. If Cam knows about that, we should probably get into it in this like companion piece or something.
We can have an extra podcast at some point, which is just additional shit that doesn't need to go into the main episode.
Just me rambling about pulp.
Yeah.
At length.
At length, yeah.
The podcast can be called At Length.
I like it. That could be like a sub-series.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It could be called Cam's Length.
How? No.
Yes.
I think we want something longer than that, guys.
Hey! The self-diss.
The best kind.
So this book is broke up into a prologue and then 2 different parts. And each parts are like 6 chapters apiece, I think. And so something that I find interesting is at the beginning of each thing, not chapters, but like prologue, section, is they have something like a poem or a quote or whatever it may be.
I like that type of shit.
We will definitely be talking about one of those in particular.
Okay.
Somebody made notes. Actual long format notes. Not
notes?
I, though.
What?
I got fucking quips. Best.
I have few notes for this book compared to the previous one, but I have more feelings compared to the previous one.
Okay.
So many feelings. Okay.
It's more of a vibes-based review here.
Vibe check. Okay.
Do we want to read like the little poems and things at the beginning, or do we just want to?
Let's just talk about the ones that are relevant in terms of we wanting to say anything about them, and I mean Ian by that.
Okay, sure. That's fine.
Although it's interesting that the first 2 are Robert E. Howard quotes.
Yes, and I thought that was very appropriate. because we're playing around in his world here.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
So the story starts off. They just throw you right in the middle of it, as any good sword and sorcery story should do.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Sonja wakes up, and people are screaming in this border fortress on like the edge of Zamora that Captain Voss is dead and he was murdered.
No. Murder and sword and sorcery?
Right.
Somebody get Poirot on this.
And so, obviously they're going to blame the Outlander, Red Sonja, for such a thing. And now
Not
there's
the terrible Netflix series.
Oh God! Wow.
Okay.
I knew that was going to affect him in particular.
Don't fucking. Oh my God. My wife watched a lot of that.
I bet she did.
Eventually, she didn't finish it, which is, feather in her cap, I guess.
I mean, I barely ever finish shows that I start. I just get bored and just quit, even if it's something I love.
This was more of a quality comment, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Voss is dead. Long live the Voss.
Yes. Which makes me think of Quinlan Voss from Star Wars EU. But neither here nor there.
Of which I'm not
Different
familiar.
Voss.
He's
different Voss, fewer dreadlocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Fewer lightsabers and dreadlocks.
Yeah, and no psychometry.
Well, that flew over my head.
No. That's fine. That's for us Star Wars nerds.
We have Lieutenant Keldum, who is now in command of the fort because the commander is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he, of course, is claiming that Red Sonja was the murderer, even though it's blatantly obvious that he was the murderer from the beginning.
Yes. There's no.
Might as well just looked at the camera and twitched his mustache. Twirled, rather. What the fuck?
Twitched his mustache.
His
like Sabrina style.
I understood that reference, which is strange.
We're old enough.
We're old. Bitch, I'm old enough to have read the comics.
All right.
So, and then, of course, rather than killing Red Sonja, they want to capture Red Sonja, of course. I mean, definitely has ulterior motives there.
Hot pants. Calling it.
Hot pants.
Mm-hmm.
What about those hot pants?
And then Red Sonja gets onto her horse, which she mentions is a roan. I don't remember if in the last book it was a roan or not. I don't know if this is the same horse or not. And then
I believe it was, actually.
Okay, cool. I didn't bother to go back and check because I read this book 6 million weeks ago.
Same. As opposed to Ian, who sent us a picture a few days ago assembling minis and watching the thing with a fireplace burning on another screen. It was very poetic, very very posh way to read Sonja.
Yeah, I had the AI read it to me again because my just executive dysfunction was kind of kicking into gear at that point. I thought, nope, fuck it, I'm not doing this the old-fashioned way anymore.
See, I read this back in December, and then
''Tis almost March.
Yeah, and I haven't read anything besides that Savage Realm stuff. Other than that, the only thing I've read is one James Patterson book, and then 8,000 Sherlock Holmes stories.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
You have been chewing through those.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So if Watson makes a cameo in this,
Elementary,
which is not from the books.
Elementary is, but not elementary, my dear Watson. The whole phrase.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. Actually,
it comes from. I've heard two things, but I never looked at the actual. I've never seen the original. One of the plays, but the Adrian Conan Doyle, his son, his pastiches, that has it in it. So that's where I first encountered it at.
Oh, different Conan.
Different.
Yes.
Doyle.
Doyle?
Definitely not a sword and sorcery name.
For anyone who understood that reference.
Doyle, the king of the Kushites. Wait, what?
Okay. So, yeah, anyway, there's not a whole lot more to say on this prologue other than Sonja hops on her horse and rides off into the desert, going to the east, away from Zamora.
Wait, hold on. Sonja hops on a horse, and it's like Jennifer Connelly in that one movie when she's on the mechanical horse and everybody jumps in with a coin when the horse stops popping. No.
What?
I'll add it to the edit. It's fine.
I have no idea what you're... Because that wasn't Labyrinth.
No. It was a real world thing. It's fine. Let's keep going.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
it'll make sense in post.
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
All right, so now we're into part 1, which is named Sareb, which is a good name. I like that name.
Sareb.
Was this the poem or not the poem that you wanted to talk about?
No, it's the next one.
Okay, I gotcha. This one's another Robert E. Howard one. It's very like a good choice on this one too because it mentions like dying virgins, and then we get into what
the only kind you find in sword and sorcery.
Well, of course, yeah,
dying virgins.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna like sacrifice a non-virgin to a god. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of funnily only now put together is the exact opposite of the horror trope where if you have sex you die, whereas here it's kind of the opposite.
If you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting to think about. I've never thought of that.
The tropes. There should be a trope talk page, not a trope talk, TV tropes page about this.
Yeah,
probably is.
Probably. Speaking of tropes, I had a note right from the very beginning. It's a very, I don't know. This is something that maybe is personal, but it irks me, which is how people talk in especially faux fantasy, sword and sorcery, what have you, where they refer to each other by their nationality. So the quote here was, "Surrender, Hyrcanian," and then there's a whole bunch of other lines where it's someone talking to her and comma Hyrcanian. It's like people don't talk like this, you know. Like if I'm talking to someone, I don't go, "Hello, Ukrainian."
Shut up, Romanian.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I'm trying to insult you, I will say that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe it's
like
in that regard.
The only time I thought about us doing that is like if Romanians are talking to Hungarians and vice versa.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the other one was like you see this in 90s terrorist movies where the inevitably brown-skinned terrorist looks at the American protagonist and goes, "We will kill you, American." Like, no. Nobody fucking talks like that. Nobody.
90s terrorist movies are sword and sorcery confirmed.
Canon.
I mean,
headcanon expands.
Kinda.
Shut up, American.
I mean, it's, you know, you're just like senseless violence on the screen. I mean, that's sword and sorcery.
Yeah, and I mean,
and guns are magic.
90s terrorist movies also did prominently feature Arnold Schwarzenegger, so
it all makes sense.
It does. Oh my god.
It's one
Conan got transported to the modern world.
It's the SNSU. Yeah, they're transporting the fucking Masters of the Universe to the real world again, as if it worked out so well the last time.
You know, I'm one of the... I think I'm the only one in my friends group who doesn't care at all about Masters of the Universe.
I have never looked at it.
You're too young.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I've got the minis game from Archon. The minis are gorgeous.
Yeah, you showed them. Yeah, they look good.
I used to
I think I
watch
saw those. Did you? maybe did you send them in the chat with all of us?
I think I did, or maybe I just sent them to you. I don't know. But,
I don't remember. But I've seen these.
Amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
they do look good.
I used to watch the show as a kid. There were reruns on some dodgy channel that we had back in the day. So it was fun.
Imagine watching things on TV.
Yeah.
Brother. Brother.
I mean, we had like one channel here, so.
Damn, communism was worse there than it was over here.
Just about to make the same fucking joke.
Yeah, and my grandmother's
communism
house
really hit early 2000s America hard.
Yeah, at my grandmother's house, we could pick up like 4 channels.
Oh, wow.
She was on top of a hill.
She was a rich commie.
Yeah.
She was part of the intelligentsia. Communist West Virginia, somebody should write that 90s terrorist movie.
I mean, if you go back to like the coal mine wars back in the 20s, I mean,
yeah, you had your own Thatcher era, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, the sequel to Red Dawn that nobody asked for, Communist West Virginia.
Red Dawn's such a good movie.
I haven't seen it since before you were born, Cam. So
that's fair.
Which is when it aired.
No, it was. What the fuck did that movie? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
Moving on.
Yeah.
ADHD. No, it was.
Yeah, don't watch 80s. The reboot either. The reboot's not good.
Oh fuck no! I had no intention. Although. Weird move to reboot Red Dawn of all things in this day and age.
Not that weird.
They changed the bad guys from the Russians to the North Koreans.
Did they? Wow.
Which is like, on one hand, it's like, okay, Russia invading the US back in the day, maybe. North Korea, no.
No.
That's ridiculous.
They would invade themselves and not know it.
Their fucking planes would fall into the ocean halfway through.
Yeah, I'm not worried about a North Korean invasion, ever.
Yeah. No.
I think we're safe from that boogeyman.
The Hyrcanian invasion, on the other hand, wait, what?
Right. Speaking of red, but only red hair.
Yes. So, you guys remember the podcast?
yeah, that thing.
So
yeah, she rode east from the border fort of Zamora towards the Tierney steppes because she's just trying to get away from them. I don't think she has a real game plan in mind. Just leave. It mentions her armor in this one is like a scale mail tunic.
As I read that, I immediately knew Cam's getting triggered here.
Yeah, because it's not scale mail. Anywho,
it's scale female. Sorry,
I did like that it mentioned that her gloves are made out of doe skin. I don't think it mentioned what type of like leather it was before, like stuff.
Excuse me while I wipe the fucking coffee off my screen. Thanks for that, Costin.
You're welcome.
Captain. No, boss is dead. What is Lieutenant Keldum?
Yeah, boss is
dead. Sorry, these characters' names don't matter.
Ian's
one
references
of them matters.
Yeah.
One of them matters.
Red Sonja. No one else in this book matters.
We'll get to it.
So, anyway, yeah. So, Lieutenant Keldum, in his infinite wisdom, decides to pursue Red Sonja across the desert, taking like the entire contingent of the fort with him, leaving the border unguarded.
Fuck the border. No, wait, fuck Red Sonja. No, wait, not like that, but kind of like that.
No. I think it's pretty clear, not very ham-fistedly telegraphed, but fairly clear from the beginning that Khaldun is using his dick as like one of those water-finding sticks to look for Red Sonja. Because
yes,
what the fuck is that called?
Does it vibrate when he gets near? Because if so, why is she running?
Aren't they like witching rods or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. There's a word for it, but I don't care.
Oh man, Khaldun's vibrating dick.
It's like, Red Sonja's that way.
It's like a bloodhound. It's like a bloodhound that jumps out of his pants and starts tugging. Oh man, it just sniffs the ground in front of it.
200 guys behind him. They're like, okay, Khaldun, whatever, let's go.
You know, like the wolf in the cartoons that's kind of floating on an air of smell. He's doing that, but with his dick in front of him.
Yep. Just gets. Is he circumcised? Because otherwise, the sand he's gonna get in that thing.
Well, actually, funny enough, I have a note about that.
Wow. About Khaldun's circumcised dick?
Well, rather, so this is where one of the other characters whose names nobody cares about, but his name is Peth.
Yes.
He's introduced. So we should mention we are in the kingdom of Zamora, right? I don't actually remember what like the real world equivalent to Zamora was, but like some Mediterranean.
There's a Zamora in real world. It's in Vosteni.
Hang on.
I have a note on that, but
I think they Howard mixed up like Zingara and Zamoran cultures though, and like put them in the wrong areas, if I remember correctly. Carry on.
I mean, the one that Howard would probably know about is Zamora in España.
Fair enough.
But yeah, something Mediterranean, and Zingaran is actually Italian for gypsy, so make of that what you will.
Yeah. Okay, so the Zamorans they're the gypsies in this world.
Okay,
literally mixed it up because Zingarans are like kind of Spanish Italian-ish.
Because it sounds like Sin Cara. Again, no fucking wrestling fans. Jesus Christ.
Nope. Sorry. No, just nothing. No. Zero.
I need a different audience.
Well, something about anyway doesn't matter. However, the character of Peth, who is part of this Zamoran army, I guess they're not mercenaries, but necessarily. He is mentioned that he is a Shemite from Shem.
Yes. Which is to the south of the location that we're at.
Which is to the south, yeah. And Shem is definitely a Middle Eastern coded place. Think the Levant, think the name of the region that I'm not going to say because we're going to get canceled online.
That'll do it. That'll do it even better.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Yep,
but anyway, Khaldun is suddenly instantly suspicious of this man. So my note is that Khaldun is an anti-Shemite.
Oh man,
that's good.
So just saying.
Beautiful.
I only know two things about Khaldun's dick. One of them is that it points in the direction of Red Sonja, and the other that is probably not circumcised. So
yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
Makes sense.
I didn't think anyone would have any notes on his dick, but here we are.
There you go.
You underestimate me. Sir.
We listen, guys. We have been talking at length about his dick.
I should have known better than to go for my coffee. I should have known better. That's twice you got me, you son of a bitch. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
We're still in chapter 1, by the way.
No more dicking around.
No more dicking around. Let's go.
So anyway, they chase her across like the land here, the desert, the Tyrrhenian steppes for like 3 days or something like that. And let me
she makes it to the town, sees the the sacrifices outside the gate. I think that's where we were at, which was like 2 paragraphs in.
See the quote about sacrificed versions.
Yeah, and so, Red Sonja is like immediately sus of this city that's in the middle of the desert because, why is it here?
Mm-hmm.
Why are there a bunch of naked, dead, like, virginal women, like, on these pikes outside of the city walls?
Mm-hmm.
But,
Reasonable.
you know what? It's probably safer than the 200 guys behind her, led by a horny lieutenant.
Yeah, I'm not a virgin. They won't sacrifice me.
There you go. Well, actually, hold on.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the joke. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also, she's hungry and tired and goes, well, either I get killed there or I get killed here, but at least I might get a meal in the meantime.
Yeah, get a meal.
You still die with a full stomach. Instead of a full something else.
Yeah. Moving on.
That turned slightly Middle Eastern.
Don't be an anti-Shemite now.
Good God, we're going nowhere.
Maybe
3
hell,
hours.
But,
3 hours.
That's
definitely going to hell.
Listen, I got a sick kid. I can't do 3 hours today.
That's fair.
We shan't.
Right,
I will not let us.
Let's go.
Yeah. So anyway, so we learn here somewhere in chapter 1 that Peth is he's got like some sort of like latent kind of like magical ability of some sort. He's like got kind of I don't know, like witchy warlocky vibes to him.
Yeah, he's got the heebies and the jeebies.
He's casting bones to tell the future, so
yeah,
shamanistic maybe.
Yeah, I guess
something like that.
For it.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's a weird kind of voodoo Jew, basically, is what Peth is.
The weird kind of voodoo Jew, yeah. As opposed to the personable ones.
No, I said a weird kind of voodoo Jew.
Got it.
Okay, all right.
Nice, good qualifier.
So yeah, he can use the bones and like talk about the future, and everybody in his company that are Zamorans, they believe in some sort of weird ass like spider god, and they're like, "You're stupid. I don't give a shit."
And Keldum's like, "Listen, I want a bone. You got the bones."
Right. I mean,
see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, they decide to like they can't bring 200 soldiers into a city that's here in the middle of like no man's land between Zamora and Tehran, because that would be like an act of war. So they're like, okay, we're gonna bring like a small contingent, like a platoon of troopers into the city.
What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? No, sorry.
I actually like the Suicide Squad movies.
Oh, wow, that's another podcast, but okay.
Yeah.
Have not watched them, never will.
Don't.
Fair.
As a DC fanboy, never will.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah.
They're bad, but I like them. This
you
is
have a taste.
I do, yes. I'm not the guy for movie recommendations.
Clearly. I remember your takes on the Avatar movies, but anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're bad. But not in a good way.
Your taste in movies is bad.
So
but
anyway,
anyway.
There's some mention too here in the city of Elkad that we learned that's what it's called. There's like a guard captain named like Sobat.
But
I'm gonna
yeah.
And there's some like vague references to the Earth folk, and it's like, who the hell are the Earth folk? But anyway, so yeah, Red Sonja goes there, and she, they let her into the city and puts her horse in the stable, and then she just like sleeps in the stable because there's like no open rooms in the inn or something like that, which doesn't make sense to me.
we also have a moment of Sobat being an incel as well, because he's just immediately going to sniff this woman's hair.
Of course he does. Everything else smells like ass and horses.
Okay,
That
but
too.
like,
there is a reason.
There is a reason, like an actual legitimate, like non-creepy reason.
Yeah, but he goes about it in a very creepy sort of way.
Yeah, but I mean, like, think about it. If it was
he
like,
lives in the desert. That's all he knows.
Yeah.
I'm not making any real world commentary.
Yeah.
He just, in universe, he lives in the desert. That's all he knows.
If a prophetic individual, will say, of whatever religion that you worship were to just appear in front of you, you'd probably be weird about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would look. I get say this that he keeps going on about this woman's red hair, which, as I was reading, I thought, okay, so these people are aliens because this dude is behaving like a fucking alien around Sonja. It's like he's never seen a human before or something.
They're in the desert. There aren't any redheads.
He's a weird alien insect man.
Yeah,
oh my
basically,
god!
Basically. But it's more than, well, we could probably get into it as in when you want, Cam, but it's more than that they're in the desert, but this city has had no contact with the outside world, essentially, is what we learned at some point.
Yeah, they're, were they like a Turanian, like, colony that, like, revolted or something, and then they just, like, became their own nation-state?
Yeah, Zamoran colony, apparently.
Oh, Zamoran, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. They mentioned that, oh, you speak Zamoran, but with a funny accent.
Well, so that way there's no, like, oh, these guys can't understand each other.
Yeah.
Basically.
They're using common.
They're well, no, I think they mentioned that they're speaking Zamoran. So
yeah, you're right. I remember that.
And Sonja is a very polyglottal redhead, as it turns out.
Yes. Well, I mean, she had to be because she
moved around a lot.
She moves around a lot, yeah, I suppose.
So you're saying Red Sonja gets around?
She does in the Gail Simone book, but anyway.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Moving straight the fuck on.
Right, there was one thing that I wrote here that there's a comment about Captain Keldum's troops packed their bedrolls, finished their skimpy morning meals, and saddled their horses. And for some reason, I had the image of a bunch of showgirls in short skirts nibbling on toast and then riding off on their plumed ponies because of the skimpy morning meals. So it was just a skimpy morning meal, guys. Fine. Yeah,
you know, because
my mind works, but yeah. It's not always ways. Yeah, exactly. It's not always the good kind of work.
Well, because of that and something that I was watching yesterday, I'm now picturing the showgirls from The Producers.
Yeah. Oh man. There's also another thing that ever more frequently have the sacrifices been held this year, and ever greater were the number of the sacrificed. And there's 6 sacrifices. What the fuck were they doing, going one by one?
No, I think that what they mean is the. Oh, yeah, actually, no, that's a fair point. Because
it's like ever greater was the number. All right, it didn't work with 1. They're not appeased. Who's got 2? I think all right, listen. Didn't go with 1, didn't go with 2. How about we go to 3? Who's got 3?
That's right. That's how I imagined it. Yeah, it was like, we always sacrifice, 1 temple priestess virgin chick every year at this time of day and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, shit, the gods are mad. We better do another one.
And another one.
And another. That's
fucking temple priest Khalid over here.
Yeah.
Apropes.
So yeah, Red Sonja spends the night in this town that is kind of sus. She wakes up the next morning, and then old guard dude, Captain whatever, Captain Sherbert, He decides to kind of talk to her and stuff in the morning, and then they go to like the guard bunkhouse to eat some food, and then everybody's like, "Ooh, this chick has red hair," and
literally that's what they sound like in my head.
And then one guy's like, "Well, you're not a real warrior. You're just a woman." And then they get in a sword fight because he's like, an asshole.
Annoying. Yeah.
And she kills him because he's stupid.
Yes.
Because that's what you do. You pick a fight with a stranger that you don't know whether they can fight or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some motherfuckers just don't know when they run into the protagonist of the story.
Listen, they live in the desert. They probably can't read.
I thought you were going to go with the Blade quote.
I was immediately thinking about it afterwards, honestly.
Some motherfuckers don't know when to quit. What, ice skating uphill or something like that?
Some motherfuckers always try to skate uphill.
Yeah.
With the callback in the most recent movie, which I did appreciate.
That was good. Yeah. Well, I guess that's no longer the most recent movie.
The most recent Blade movie, anyway.
Or...
No, I was talking about the Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they came out with another Marvel movie since then.
Nothing matters.
No,
that was the only Marvel movie I was looking forward to in the whole whatever phase they're in.
I wasn't thinking it as a Marvel movie. I was thinking of it just as a Blade movie.
As a Blade movie, yeah.
Well, spoiler alert.
A Wesley Snipes movie. The most recent Wesley Snipes movie. There we go.
Blade's a Marvel character.
Far. Yeah.
Blade is a Marvel character, yeah, which was a surprise to me. Shout out to Mahershala Ali, I guess.
And Bon Voyage.
Yeah, because maybe that's not happening anymore, but I definitely don't care, so let's move on.
No. Wasn't going to watch it anyway. So... Yeah. Anyway, the people obviously are outraged that some outlander, some Hyrcanian, deigned to slay one of their people in their town, and their goddess, queen, chiefess lady is quite pissed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I can't do a very gravelly, but just imagine me doing a Dark Elf from Morrowind voice whenever you say the word Outlander.
You Inwa!
Yeah.
There you go. Shout out to my Morrowind homies.
Yeah. I'm a Morrowind stan through and through.
I can't fucking stand that game.
Fucking young.
He's too young.
You Inwa!
It's god-awful.
Shout out to Winnie the Pooh, because he voiced half of the characters in all of the Elder Scrolls. Everything, actually.
In all of the everything.
Jesus, hold on. What the fuck is his name? I can't remember the man's name.
I'm blanking.
It's just Winnie the Pooh.
I'm bad with voice actor names.
He's a legendary voice actor. Jim Cummings. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah. Anyway, Hefe is the name of the queen, or Hefe.
Yeah.
Yo, Hefe, what up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I had the app read this out loud to me. So when the character got introduced and said Hefe showed up, and I looked up at the book and like, what the fuck is this? Sonja takes on the Mexican cartels. What's going on here?
I would read a comic book of Sonja doing that.
Time traveling with Vampirella, maybe.
Time traveling with Vampirella. Yeah.
There is a modern comic book series that I won't get into that she does come to America and fuck shit up.
Me.
So it's great. I love it.
No.
No.
But anywho, so yeah, they capture Red Sonja because she killed someone in their city, and murder is illegal unless you're sacrificing virgins. Totally legal.
That's not murder. It's sacrifice, ritual sacrifice. It's fine.
Right.
Totally different thing.
Yeah.
Yes, very different. And then we have the Zamoran leader Keldum shows up with a handful of soldiers, or does he go in alone first?
Well, it's not Keldum that shows up. It's Gevim, his second in command.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, the second lieutenant.
Yeah. Which
all these fucking NCOs.
What was that quote on the internet with I have that kind of attitude that is the bane of teachers and second lieutenants everywhere? Or something like that.
I don't remember.
It's internet apocrypha.
Okay.
But yeah, so he goes in. Gevim, you're right. Goes there with. I think he goes in alone at first.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna keep troops outside. We don't want to like stir shit up. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh hey, cool, yeah, he's like, hey, that redheaded woman. She's the person we're after. She's a wanted criminal.
They're like, yeah, no shit.
And then we have some argument over jurisdiction.
Gevin's with the FBI.
Yeah, these are the local.
These are the locals.
Yeah.
Hefe's the sheriff.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
We're in fucking Arizona.
Look, she committed a crime in our town. This is our jurisdiction. We're putting her in our jail. You're not taking
her to county jail.
She gonna get tried for her crimes.
I was like, no, we're taking Sonja to Gitmo. It's a whole thing.
It's like, look, I've got 200 soldiers outside. They can't sit out there forever. Like, we gotta go.
We're taking Sonja so that Keldum can get mo of her.
Oh! Even better, we're gonna take Sonja so we can give him to Keld. No, never mind.
That's fine. It's the shark hath been jumped.
The shark hath been jumped.
Jesus.
So so they knock Sonja out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they throw her in prison. Classic sword sorcery.
Just because of the trauma that we all shared, they knock her out with chemicals rather than the Thongor method.
Yes. No head trauma that we have to worry about. Sonja's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They just use magic.
Mm.
Because science and magic's the same thing in this world.
They're gentle about it, yeah. They gently lull Sonja to sleep.
Yes. So then we go to chapter 3. And we're introduced to a female character named Tiemu, who is named after a star. She's one of the temple virgins.
We also get wayfish characters whose names start with T. We got Tias, we got Tiemu.
Yeah, I was immediately just like, fucking Tias all over again? What, is this just
abandoned notes from the first one? Likable.
Yeah, she's entirely less hateable than Tias.
And there's all these rumors, too, about, like, this flame-haired warrior from the north has arrived. Oh, my God. Is this the prophecy?
Yeah. And I have a very short note here because it's trope territory, but is very specific prophecies. And I do not like this trope. I do not like it at all.
Oh, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not going to say it's, like, good, but it's whatever.
Yeah, tropes.
Tropes. Exactly. Yeah. If you don't like tropes, don't read pulp.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Because they created all of them. So then we're also introduced to Sost, which is a terrible name. Who is a young priest.
I wish I was Sost.
He would be if you took a shot every time we mentioned Thongor.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
So
I'm dead.
Yeah. And so Tiemu and like Sost, they have like kind of a forbidden kind of romancy type thing going on where it's like, we can only be friends because temple virgin status and blah blah, but like we're drawn to each other.
But we
we're
can
just
do it
friends.
in the bud. That's literally the kind of vibe they give.
Yeah.
So we can do it in the bud, but only after 5 p.m. That's when my shift ends.
Right. You know, after the whatever the court wizard's name is goes to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
He's
going to make
probably
a joke
doing it in the bud as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was just about to say that there are real world people like that, and then he made it worse.
So we're also introduced to the concept of like the prophet Musa, which made me think of like Methuselah from the Bible.
Well, that was on purpose.
Yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got like this whole like he, kind of like they worship him and like kind of, but not really.
Well, it's again, I don't want to make any real world parallels, but they have one god, and Methuselah is his prophet.
Yes, and their god is it starts with a Z. It's like,
isn't it Sarah?
Well, we'll get to that.
True. Spoilers. But yeah, so eventually Tiamu decides that she has to go see this flame-haired warrior, to see if the prophecy is real. Which, I mean, you're a priestess in this temple, lady. You should believe in the prophecy. What are you doing?
Yeah, but she also does it in the butt, so her heart's not all in it,
Yeah, you're right. So she sees Sonja and like inadvertently helps her escape. Like it is not her intent to bust her out of jail, but Tiamu's an idiot.
It kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
Right, she's an idiot.
Well, she's kind of bumbling through.
This is what happens when you order your plan on Tiamu. I mean what?
And so Sonja like escapes, and like Tiamu like kind of helps her because she's like, I guess this crazy lady has a sword. I'm gonna help her.
The opposite of the previous episode with I have a sword. I don't care. Well, I do care.
With a meme, yeah.
And I don't remember exactly how, but like she's able to like hide out, and then Sost ends up helping her like escape. Right?
Well, Tiamu, again, I can't pronounce this fucking woman's name. She helps Sonja escape, gives her basically the world's worst
hand job
disguise, which is
also
bitch. Which is just a cloak to hide her red hair, apparently, because good luck sneaking through the city with that. Finds her horse, she leaves, and then I'm mixing the NPCs up. Which one is Sobot? Yeah, Sobot.
Yeah, sure. Captain Sherbert.
Yeah, Captain Sherbert. Captain So Butthurt is going to help Tiamu. Well, he doesn't help her because he doesn't get the chance. Spoilers, but he basically just told her, "I ain't no snitch, but we're going to talk about this."
Yep.
Yeah. He is investigating the escape of Sonja because they like go down to like check on her or bring her food or something, and she's not there, and they're like, "Oh shit."
Oh yeah, he does some Poirot shit in the meantime. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of,
yeah, and so I don't know. So all that's going on, and then you have I don't know. We are now at the point of I've read this book multiple times, but my notes are very thin. So
what happens next is that Gevem shows up out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And just goes, yes, I've read the last few pages of the book because I don't know how the fuck he got all of this information. And he threatens to blackmail Sobot, but he's acting like, oh no, I'm actually a friendly dude. I'm going to help. And I'll be honest, because Gevem was sort of on the fence about Kildum, I thought he was going to be our sort of dark horse good guy in this.
Yeah, I did too. It was such a good like twist when he's not.
Yeah, and then he has a kick the dog moment, so to speak, when he just throws Sobot off the parapet.
Literally kicks the dog off the parapet.
Just dead ass murders this guy.
And Sobot was like, the only person in this entire fucking town that I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he died.
But he died. And it was so sudden that while the narrator was reading the book out loud, and it got to the scene where Gavin first hits him over the head with a torch, and I reached to my notes to say, okay, we've actually got a concussion, and by the time I finished writing, the dude was flying over the parapet.
Yeah, it's like concussion's the least of this dude's worries.
No, he did.
It's not the concussion, but the fall that killed him.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So then we get to, are we to the point of where this character that has now turned into like an anti-hero is now going to become a villain? Is that where we're at now?
Yeah. He went full villain mode, and this isn't even the worst thing that he does in this book. So
no.
Yeah.
So I know at some point, Sost is like looking into like escape routes from the city, because like Tiamu needs to like escape, and he also wants to leave. They want to let go elope or something. And you know, there's some tension now between the Hefe's people and Gevim, because it's like, look, you lost the prisoner that we needed to take back. My first lieutenant's gonna be really pissed.
Yeah.
Do they bring the troops in yet?
A bit later.
Okay.
Gevim. It's funny because I'm not used to reading pulp books where characters are smart. But Gevim is actually intelligent.
Yeah. Yes. He gave him an ultimatum.
You're full of them.
It's one of those mornings.
It's one of those I didn't even put whiskey in my coffee, and I'm kind of regretting that decision now.
I put milk in mine. I'm firing on all cylinders, baby.
Oh yeah. No, because they give us a not ham-fisted detail about how Gevim actually talks to his troops and says, listen, if I'm not back by the evening, send up a signal to the captain or first lieutenant, whatever the fuck he is right now. And then it calls back to that, and then his people show up later because of actual characters acting intelligently, which again, I wasn't aware we were allowed to do in these books.
Yeah, we actually had like a military personnel that operated like a military.
Yeah.
That was refreshing.
Competent?
Yeah. Wow. It's really weird because like the Zamorans are the villains in this, but you like almost root for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's a fucking villain in this book. Except for, I would say, Tiamu and Red Sonja, but towards
Sost
the end,
fine.
Yeah, Sost is okay actually. He's kind of just he's cool. He's
just
cool.
smitten.
And Sobut's just a dude.
Sobut's dead.
Yeah, but
Sobut was just a dude.
Sobut was just a dude.
Yeah.
I would say he was a cool dude, but he's dead. So, but anyway, but yeah, no, we're again towards the end of this book. I had negative feelings towards everyone involved, more or less. Except Tiamu. Tiamu did nothing wrong. Poor girl. We're at the point where the arrival of the flame-haired mercenary from the north, as per the very specific prophecy, has sent everyone into a tizzy.
And rioting in the streets.
Yeah, there's rioting. La Jefe, fuck me. La Jefecita is arguing with, well, no, she's not the Jefecita, she's quite a big lady.
That's
make
why
sure to mention that. That's why they call her Fecita.
It's a pet name.
Yes, it's Gordita is what we affectionately refer to her.
Yes.
Behind her back.
Behind her backs. We just mutter it in our chins. I'm gonna stop. This is gonna be 3 hours because of me.
Right. Yes. Now, I wanted to take a note about what was happening because genuinely it was actually interesting. Again, these people behave like people. They're not caricatures, which again, I wasn't aware we were allowed to do that. But what I did write down is the first of 2 very petty notes. I have a thing that gets triggered in my brain every time I read a specific type of, shall we say, turn of phrase, which does tend to happen a lot in fantasy books. So I'll read this part to you. As the sage made to clear his table, he paused, his face went ashen, his hands trembled, and I wrote, his knees weak, palms are sweaty.
Listen, he wasn't in the kitchen, okay?
Yes, sure. There's vomit on his notes already. Mom's spaghetti. Anyway. Yeah. So politics happens, and here we get to the part of the book that kind of shunted me out of it. To an extent.
The temple scene?
This is the temple scene, yes.
Yes. Where Gavin now becomes such a horrific character that you cannot like him.
Yes, you absolutely cannot. Now, again, I want to say, so my feelings on this book are very mixed. I thought this was, to an extent, unnecessary to the overall plot, even though it turns out it becomes a huge part of the plot.
Yeah, at least they actually made it relevant and it didn't just happen.
Yeah. So, again, I don't want to...
I have no idea what happens next, for crying out loud. What the fuck is on?
It's the rape scene.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, Gavin rapes Tiemu.
Gavin rapes Tiemu. So, a couple of things I want to make... Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
I want to make one thing very clear about this. They don't describe it, thank fuck.
They cut to black, basically, but...
They do a very good job of, like, showing, like, how evil Gevim is, how terrified Tiemu is, how hard this affects her, but you don't actually get the scene itself, which is the only way you can play this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's the bare minimum, and they cleared that benchmark, thank goodness. I was just made very uncomfortable by it. I sort of, to a greater extent, question why we need to include this type of violence in a book, sexual violence, use it as a plot point.
I mean, this probably links more into Red Sonja's character arc than anything. So if this wasn't if this hadn't been a thing with Red Sonja, it probably wouldn't have made it. Fucking English tenses.
Yes.
In this form.
Yeah, I agree.
Get that.
I also think too they're trying to portray the Hyborian age is a hellhole. No one would want to live in this era.
Yeah.
It's like Warhammer. You don't want to live in the world of Warhammer because it's fucking awful.
Yeah, unless you're a fucking idiot on Twitter, but whatever.
Well, that's just people who use Twitter.
That's just people, yeah. No, I get that. And again, it's part of sort of the sword and sorcery motif, which this is a terrible world. They keep calling it a savage age, right? So people are bound to misbehave, so to speak.
It's literally when you're made to find a fate worse than dying, perhaps.
Kinda, yeah.
So,
I guess what I'm saying is I didn't really appreciate reading it, and in all honesty, I probably would have put down the book if I wasn't reading it for this podcast. And this is why my feelings are very mixed, because overall, it's a good book. It's well written. It does a lot of things that I actually do appreciate. But it was hard for me to get over this, genuinely.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I've read this book like a gazillion times, so it doesn't come as a shock to me anymore. I might be completely desensitized to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it fit with the entire ideas of violence that are going on. I mean, there's Vestal virgins sacrificed on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Which is already was a great start.
Yeah, yeah. It's just various shades of violence. It just depends on, it fits into the idea of Sonja and her character, and there's a bonding over it later on and everything.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
so I get it from that standpoint, at least. So it's
not
I
understand
gratuitous, and it has a bearing on things that happen later on.
And that's a very good point. It is not gratuitous. It ties into the theme of the book. It ties into the theme of the main character.
Plus, she can't get sacrificed anymore. So
true.
Every clout.
In a strange twist.
Yeah.
But yes.
And at least Tiamu gets revenge eventually. So
that she does. She does. It turns into a revenge movie. So
we're keeping with the characters having arcs that are satisfying and contained to one book.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
For
it's
the
very
most part.
nice.
Other than poor Sobot.
Yeah, well, Sobot
he had an arc right off the wall.
His arc was ballistic. That's
was physics. Fucking physics was his arc. Yeah. Christ.
His ultimate nemesis was gravity.
Yeah.
Yep.
He couldn't grasp the gravity of the situation.
Take the coffee away from this man.
No, it's gone.
Real.
Coffee's done. This is just.
God, drink more then, maybe. I don't know.
I got some white glue water next to me for some reason.
Brother.
All right.
So
that was weird.
We move on. Oh, that was weird? That's where we draw the line?
My white glue water in my workshop? Yeah, that's not weird at all.
Nah, don't worry about it. Sonja escapes the city, of course, and she rides up to the mountain with like the really shitty directions that she was given. Ride to the northeast and between those two rock pillars and that cave up there. Whatever, doesn't matter.
You'll find it. Don't worry. You'll know when you get there.
Vibes-based direction system.
Yeah. And so she arrives, and then a mysterious voice like calls out to her, and it's like, blah, 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 "This is my territory."
That's exactly what he said.
Literally.
What popped in my brain whenever he was talking to her was Ben Kenobi when the Tusken Raiders show up, and he's like, "Ooh," and they all like run away. I feel like that's what he was trying to do.
I think the authors literally had that in mind.
Him doing a Great Dragon howl.
Yeah, kind of. What popped into my mind actually was Tim the Wizard from
Monty Python.
Yeah,
bruh.
There are some who call me Tim.
God, I haven't watched Monty Python in forever.
Yeah,
should rectify that mistake.
I should
definitely.
Yeah.
But anyway, to move things along here a little bit, because I do not want another 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
We meet.
We're already halfway through the book.
We are halfway through the book. That's good.
Right.
So it's only a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah.
But yes, we are introduced to Soreb,
the wizard.
Eponymous wizard of this part of the book.
We're out to see the wizard.
That curiously, the people don't realize that he is Soreb. They think that he is still the original wizard.
Yep.
So I like that.
Yeah.
It
ties too more afraid to check.
Well, these people don't leave their city, man. They have no idea. But we get more into that in the second half of the book. But for now, my note is, well, 2 notes on the introduction to this character. Number 1, another NPC giving us his whole ass life story. Because there are pages of this dude info dumping, and it was boring.
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, having a physics lesson dumped in the middle of your story. But
not quite as bad.
It was still like, okay, dude, Sareb, I don't give a shit what you've done in your life.
Listen, man, I know you've been here alone for 50 years, but cut me some slack, dude.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, he would be talking like somebody who's been alone for over 100 years in the mountains.
Yeah.
But we don't need to have that in the book.
Yeah, but we could have like faded to black on that.
Exactly.
Combo.
And then come back and he's still talking.
Yeah.
Like Sonja falls asleep.
This dude's still going. But he doesn't just info dump on his backstory. He info dumps on the history of Elcad. Cam, I'll let you give us the details on that. But I just want everyone to picture Soreb now as the aliens meme guy explaining this right now. Because it's literally aliens.
Yeah, spoilers. So yeah, you've got the Zamoran people like moved here. It was like an outpost like on the edge of like the Tierney border. They were trying to like expand and stuff, and then there was a rebellion with like the general that was there, and they said, "Fuck Zamora, we're gonna be our own place." And
Black chicken hookers.
Yeah, and there's was this like the husband of the queen or like the father or something?
I don't. Yeah, I think. Well, the husband of Hefe gets mentioned, but I don't know if he was the founder of the city. Actually,
I don't know.
I think he might have been.
He might have been, yeah.
Yeah, because she was very proud about continuing the tradition. I think there's a bit of a diatribe on that.
Yeah,
there is.
I think she rambles at some point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they rebel. They become their own city state. And you know, as you do, you set up your own religion. And so
slightly different shade of red.
So you have Zarutha, who is the god of their city, who was literally just a wizard. And there's another Middle Eastern religious association with that name, or very similar.
Wellity. And now, folks, we get into it.
Yeah.
But more to the point of the timeline of the book, this is why I was kind of confused, and I don't think it's Efe's husband, because we've got 3 generations of wizards from the founding of this, which is hundreds of years
fair enough.
worth of lifetime.
There's something about Hefe, inheriting it from her husband and doing,
so she did
being very proud to,
Yeah, so maybe like her husband was one of the descendants of the founder, but whatever.
Something
That's
of the sort.
my impression, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of vague and hard to follow that, because like you said, it makes it seem like he was the founder, but yet the city has been here for a while, and the Zamorans would have like recognized that, hey, this is that city that one dickhead general like rebelled against us at. These guys have no clue what the city is.
Yeah,
exactly. Like nobody.
Wait,
has
I know
any
how this
idea
book ends.
But with that, we do get into part 2 of the book. Which is called The Earth Folk. But this one starts with the quote that I wanted to talk about, which is a quote from Nietzsche. Specifically from his book, Thus Spake Zarathustra, which, if you haven't read, you've definitely heard the intro to. it's there was a music composed by, I forget the name of the composer, but then they used it for 2001: Space Odyssey. That's called "Thus Spake Zarathustra." Little tie-in for you. And I feel like if they hadn't included this quote, which is a random ass real world quote at the beginning of a book about wizards in a fictional place, right?
Hey, listen, they really believed in this shit.
Yeah, sure.
And it is a believable world.
No, it is a believable world. No, yeah, it's just it just again gave you a whiplash.
Yeah.
You have the first quote from Robert E. Howard, but he's writing about the Hyborian Age, and now fucking Nietzsche is, I don't know, canonically part of this world now, I guess. I don't fucking know.
He's like a dandelion chronicling the adventures of...
Yeah.
He is one of the chroniclers of Numidia, guys. Come on now.
There you go.
Absolutely, yes. Friedrich Nietzsche, canonically. Now, without this quote, it probably would have taken me much longer to understand something that is prominent in the second half of the book, which this book has some ideology to share with us.
It does. I did note that down. I mentioned True Spirit Mumbo Jumbo.
Yes. Yeah, that's... I'm not saying it did the ideology particularly well, but better than some books for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's serviceable.
Yeah. Again, my feelings, they are mixed, but in case anyone's wondering, the Zarathustra is not a coincidence. That is definitely deliberate on the author's part. And we gonna get into it.
The one main lesson that's said here that I'm not sure in which part of the book it's mentioned, but there's a quote that says, "Rights are created by men of power and vision, not innate in the fabric of existence."
Yeah,
that stuck with me. So
yeah, I liked that. I did.
Yes.
Which is one of my notes here. That I appreciated how well they showed religion being used as a tool of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Political
it's always
control.
been like a theme in
religion
the
and fear, the fear of the unknown.
Yes.
The Conan stories, but like it's really like in the forefront here. You get to really see how it works. I think the only Conan stories that you really see that in are ones that deal with Stygians.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
Yeah, because that's the Hebiest of the GBs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Stygians are always the villains everywhere they show up.
Well,
kind of.
Yeah.
But to clarify a point before we get even more sidetracked, the reason Soreb is aliens meme guy is because the so-called Earth folk that the citizens of Elcad keep sacrificing virgins to are actual aliens who crash landed accidentally, as it turns out, onto this planet, but everyone thinks they're demons because they're your sort of Lovecraftian aliens, which, you know, they consume souls, as it turns out.
Yep.
Hungry.
Probably consume them through the ass because they're aliens.
Seemingly.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, I loved the fact that we have something which is okay. So basically aliens, which have some strange power, sure, and then they influence a human settlement, and the humans respond in the way that humans have
always responded,
which is, well, I guess we're building a religion around this fucking thing now.
Yep.
It's very accurate in that regard.
Yeah, so you had the original founders of the city who discovered this, and then their court wizard, Zarutha. It is revealed through Soreb info dumping that Zarutha, that is, told the rulers, listen, these are aliens. Okay? These are actual, honest-to-goodness aliens. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't doing the meme thing. He was like, no, listen.
Like, actually fucking aliens.
Actual fucking aliens.
There's this big-ass metal boat that fell from the sky. It came from space, from another world, and it crashed. And there's freaking aliens inside it.
And they are draining the life force out of us because they're intergalactic vampire aliens or something.
Vampire demon things, yeah.
Yeah, and then the lay people of the city basically just immediately. So what you're saying is demons, right? You're talking about demons, and at this point, Zarutha, I guess, exasperatedly just goes, "Sure, dude, sure, let's call it that." And then the ruler immediately turns to his people and goes, "Commence the virgin sacrifices." And the ruler's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, this was not Zarutha's
That's
intent.
No, wait, back up.
Hold up, no.
Too late.
Too late. At which point, Zarutha departs the city to become a hermit.
He's like, I failed.
Yes, it's like, nope, fuck this shit, I'm out. His what disciple, I guess you would call it, Methuselah, whatever the fuck his in-world name was.
Muthsa or something.
Yeah, Muthsa, right? Again, stupid names.
Wait, I got one. Muthsera.
Oh no. What?
Muthsera.
What's that from?
Morrowind.
Oh shit! Wow.
The Khajiit talking to the Outlander, I think.
I always block the Khajiit out from my mind. Sorry.
Oh well, fucking animal cat people, but still.
Yeah, that's
Muthsera. Yeah, sorry.
Muthsera. Right. No, you're right. Yes. But Khajiit has wares. No, sorry. Khajiit over here, Mike the liar, let's call him.
Mike the liar. He's very horny.
He is definitely. He stays behind, writes some annotations to the what people are now calling the prophecy of Zarutha.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucks off to the mountains as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's quitting on these bitches.
It's like Zarutha wrote the Old Testament, and then Methuselah wrote the New Testament, and then he also left.
Which again, but then there's a class of priests that get established in this city.
Because of course they do.
Because of course it is. And here's where the Nietzschean part of this whole thing really kicks into gear. Because the second half of this book, part 2, is basically a vibes-based interpretation of Nietzsche's Thus Spake Zarathustra and Beyond Good and Evil. It is, diluted Nietzschean philosophy, the whole thing. Because what Nietzsche writes in this is about morality, and then he gets into... It's really dumb. I don't like Nietzsche, but essentially he says that there's, 3 types of people? There's slaves, masters, and priests. Mm-hmm. Right? Slaves are essentially worthless. Masters are evil, but the real worst of the worst are the priests who create a philosophy of suffering and that you should all suffer so that you can achieve greater good. He was thinking specifically of Christianity when he wrote this, but, it applies to our demon-worshipping idiots here as well.
I mean, you got Catholic priests, so...
Yeah.
Speaking of altars...
Yeah, and here's a direct quote from the book. For when were priests other than poisoners? That's from Soreb, I believe. He specifically calls them out. So my notes were random Nietzsche quote at the beginning of the book, ? And then a few notes down. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's definitely Nietzsche.
And I enjoyed the True Spirit mumbo jumbo. Like, it works, but it's whatever. Like, it's
So the True Spirit part of it is the bit that I did not like, because it's a riff on the Ubermensch, basically, is what a True Spirit is. Which is, the one who rises above this whole thing with the three slaves, masters, and priests.
Right. They're the only people that truly have souls. Are these true spirits. Like, everybody has a soul, but like most people aren't important.
Yeah, they're mixing.
True spirits are higher beings, I guess.
Higher
purpose.
Higher purpose, and that's the part that really I did not like, because if you want to introduce some ideology into your book, that's fantastic. I am all for that. It makes it more interesting, and it did make it more interesting, because you have the political struggles in Elcad, the cultural struggles around, should we continue these sacrifices? What if this whole religion thing was actually stupid?
What if we run out of virgins?
What if we run out of virgins?
Listen, there's fewer and fewer virgins if we keep sacrificing them in 6 apiece.
Yeah, the math checks out.
Yeah.
But then they make it so that anyone who's worth anything in the cosmology of this world is for totally unrelated supernatural reasons that nobody has any control of. Because Tiamu is a true spirit, Sonja is a true spirit, and shock, twist, horror, Khaldun is a true spirit as well, because they can also be bad.
Yep. Right. A true spirit does not mean that you're a good being. It means that you are, just a higher being. Like, it's, pure evil or pure good. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Bigger role to play overall.
Yeah, literally, because what true spirit means, what true spirit means is that you have a main speaking role in the plot of the book.
Yes.
Actually. It's protagonist energies.
You're right, because Sareb's a true spirit.
Chosen one.
And Sost is a true spirit, and we can presume that...
It turns out.
Fucking everybody that ever assembled on that, 2 kilometers square patch of land.
Well, no, because the majority of people are worthless.
Yeah,
as
true,
it turns out.
They all happen there because of prophecy, because of, chosen one energy.
So the thing that I like about it is the idea that these true spirits will seek each other out, which I think kind of vibes with the whole world of Conan, with Conan and Sonja in the comics, they vibe together. You've got Conan and Belit in the novels.
There's a lot of real world mythology as well, myths of reincarnated individuals that keep seeking each other out in every life. So that was a nice parallel as well.
Right, sure, and I find those to be just as bullshit as this.
Fair enough. Well,
that's fair, yeah. But
I like those. I like those stories.
Yeah, I like the whole. I know. I guess this would be.
It's Hancock. Great. It's basically Hancock. Okay.
I guess this could be great man history to the nth degree.
And that's basically it. Yeah. Because there's, let's say, an interpretation of this philosophy where there's no way to be charitable about it, but you're just saying that there's people who will accomplish things in life, and then there's the unwashed masses, right? Hello, Karl Marx has entered the chat, but but what Nietzsche's whole thing was that the majority of people on the planet ain't worth shit. Right? They're slaves, would be how he would put it. And they operate on slave morality. And Soreb seems to think the same thing, because he has no qualms about sacrificing an entire city of people if it means saving one true spirit. And that part was where I went, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't agree with his ideology.
That's because you have slave mentality.
But I understand his ideology, I'll say.
Can I just put a little parenthesis over here? when you edit the video, please put a picture of Nietzsche with the deal with it sunglasses over his face.
Fair enough.
When you deliver that line.
Yes, will do.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Like, I like that most of the characters in this are complex characters. They're not NPCs. It's refreshing to just encounter that. Like Sareb, like, he has some good points. Like, yeah, this whole city has like awful sins on their hands. But he's also like crazy because he wants to murder everyone in the entire place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, some of these people are just like, they were born here. They didn't ask to be born here.
So there's only one way to be sure: nuke it from orbit.
You're right. You're right. Which, spoilers.
Which he kind of does.
There's no time to sit in court with these people. Just nuke it from orbit.
Seemingly.
Oh, we forgot another true spirit.
Which one?
Peth.
Oh, Peth!
Oh, fucking Peth. Oh, Peth.
Yeah. Yes, because Peth is around the poor bastard.
Yeah.
He's not having a good time of it.
Peth, like, goes rogue from the Zamoran army because he's like, I just used them to get here because I feel like Sareb calling me. And, he, shocker, another main character with speaking parts is a true spirit.
Funny enough, all of the main characters with speaking parts are true spirits except for Gavin.
Yeah, and I feel like he could have been a true spirit though, because like he was truly an awful piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean,
he would have gravitated towards Keldon as well in that regard.
Exactly. And the way I sort of interpreted true spirit, at least trying to make it less stupid in my head, was that true spirits are people with agency and the ability to affect the world meaningfully.
Yeah.
And Gevim does that.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah. I would definitely argue that Gevim is a true spirit by the definitions laid out in the book.
Exactly.
Yep.
But because we don't like him, we can only have one bad true spirit per book.
You're right.
The editors. So
yeah.
But I like, again, like you said, Cameron, every character in this book is not an NPC. They're people with stories and motivation. And it's actually well done in that regard. Like I said, it's actually a good book. It's a well-written book. The ending is dumb.
Yeah. Like, I would argue that this book is better written than the first book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. On multiple levels.
It does a great job of setting up where each faction or sub-faction, if you think of like single characters as factions, sit and why they engage and what they're engaging.
Yeah.
It does a great job of setting up the why of everything.
Yes.
In terms of why each and every person is where they are and how everything has got to where it is right now.
Everyone has motivation, and you may not like it, you may disagree with it, but you understand where it comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we could probably just wrap up soon. We've kind of talked about everything, skipping the sequence of events fairly.
Well,
but
we need to talk about one thing in the city, one thing on the mountain,
yes,
and then the end.
Exactly.
The Sermon on the Mountain.
The Sermon on the Mount. But before you do that, I would just like to introduce my second petty note at this point, because there's another quote from the book. I'll just read it for you. Sonja watched, and while she did, her face colored, her muscles tensed, her knees weak, palms are sweaty.
What's bad is I didn't know when you transitioned into Eminem at first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's a good note.
Yeah.
There you go.
So eventually, the they go in. The Zamorans go into the city because the military tactics that were previously discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And they take residence up in the place. They're invited into the city gates by Hefe's people.
Yes.
However, it's a trap. And
Whoops.
unfortunately, Admiral Akbar was not there to warn them. And so we have a scene.
Resist.
Please do.
It's fine. I'll put the meme in the description.
Thank you.
We have a scene that I feel like most people nowadays would associate with Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
We have like the red wedding.
The red wedding. Yeah.
It is basically a red wedding. Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved this whole battle for the city. You've got the Zamorans sitting at the dinner table, and the archers kind of show up on the outsides, and they start shooting arrows into the hall.
Yeah, and then bad aim, I might add.
Yeah,
bad aim.
Fucking seriously.
But
friendly fire.
It explains it though in a very good way. Is that the Zamorans are these hardened soldiers that have fought in multiple wars.
Yep.
And the people in the city haven't fought in like I don't know, like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of made almost explicitly clear that since the founding of the city, they've had almost no contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Right. Like they may have like quashed rebellions in the city or something, or they've practiced. Maybe they've attacked. Maybe some people showed up and like tried to attack their castle and they killed them.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're saying is Saddam Hussein here didn't really train her Republican Guard very well.
Man.
When the Zamoran Marines showed up.
Yes, they did, and they
let loose the dogs of war and they sniffed her out.
Hey, they sure did.
They SEAL Team 6 the shit out of this place.
More like Meal Team 6.
That's good actually.
All right, I'm done.
Anyway, back to the streets of Mogadishu. I mean Al-Qad, sorry.
Yeah, so the people are, kind of like freaking out because of everything going on. And obviously the Zamorans they capture the city because the people in the city of Al-Qad suck at fighting.
They suck at everything, bro.
They do. They're good at sacrificing virgins. They're good at that.
Should have learned to code.
You know what? Actually,
I'm sorry. No. Should have learned to cod.
Oh,
there we go.
They actually aren't good at sacrificing virgins, though, because they had to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So
sacrificing the wrong virgins.
Oh, yep.
So anyway, so then we have another intelligent moment from the military. They don't kill the reigning sovereign.
Yeah.
They capture her, and they're like, yo, you're going to go out there and tell the people that everything's fine now, we're all friends now, everything's good, and you're our hostage so that the people don't try and kill us.
Yep.
U.S. Foreign Relations.
Yeah. Yes.
Stop reading my mind, dude.
And he was like, and also, do you have any oil?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, up on that mountain over there.
Yeah. So they don't actually SEAL Team 6 Hefe.
Yeah, not all the way. Not all the way.
No,
the court wizard is dead, but I think Peth kills him.
Yes, but in self-defense, no less.
Yeah, it wasn't Peth's fault. It doesn't matter, they would have killed him anyway.
Peth did nothing wrong.
Based. So, yeah, they take control of the city, and at some point there's like a riot in the city as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fighting in the streets and killing each other. And you have Sareb up on the mountain being like, man, I fucking hate these people in this city. All they do is kill each other, and they're just awful human beings, and they're not worth living. We should just kill them all. And
I'm not I'm not saying I disagree with him, but I
No,
also
I
am not saying I disagree with him. I get the hate, brother, but genocide ain't the answer.
Exactly. And
re-educate,
so,
re-educate, don't eradicate.
Yeah, but before you move on, sorry, just I'm gonna let you finish. However, I just realized that my Saddam Hussein parallel may have been a little prophetic on my own part, because when they do take out the leader of this fictional land that is totally not Iraq, ISIS immediately shows up.
yes, they do.
Oh man!
I mean, they fucking
prophecies
Assad
are real.
This motherfucker real cool. Yeah, honestly, I kind of prophesied it myself, and I didn't even realize I was doing it.
There you go.
Yeah. So eventually, they poison the queen, right? And she dies.
Yeah.
The new court wizard who was the assistant before.
I mean, his name is an anagram of sus, so.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Shit, I forgot what his name was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mr. Among Us,
Mr. Among Us,
poisons the queen, and they're like, "Oh, the queen died," blah blah blah, and don't they blame it on like the Zamorans killed her?
Yeah, they blame it that the Zamorans killed her. They go after the Zamorans, and then the cutscene arrives, and it says the Zamorans were not the infiltrators. Or how does that game go again?
They were not the imposters.
The imposter. There we go. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so Tiamu and Sost escape this, or no, Sost is still there.
Sost is still there. He's the right-hand man to the murderous court wizard now.
Right, he's trying to get in contact with Sareb.
Yes.
With the magic mirror and shit.
Yep.
And I think he does.
Snow White up in this bitch.
I think he does.
Yeah, honestly,
he does ring him up on the phone, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he Zoom calls him through the mirror.
Yeah.
Sascha style.
Yeah, and I don't remember really exactly what happens during this phone call.
Well, I'll tell you.
There's static.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because what does happen is he's trying to dial Soreb, but he gets the wrong number and gets Methuselah instead.
And, that's right!
Yeah. So Methuselah's shade, they call it, apparently is somehow tied to this mirror, so he's dead, but he's still around, Force Ghost style. And he tells Sost that he's been trying to reach his pupil Soreb to
about his car's extended warranty.
About his car's extended warranty, yeah. And also possibly genocide. And he tells Sost to give Soreb a message, which is, and I quote, "I didn't counsel you to love cockroaches." We will come back to that. Well, we will fucking come back to that.
Harsh.
What a base message.
It's
tad harsh.
I mean, they were going for that vaguely prophetic message that you will understand in context vibe, but bro, you just said the quiet part out loud at this point.
Yeah. And so eventually Keldum's troop, they learn that Sonja's up on the mountain with Sareb, and they show up and they're like, "Get out here, you wench. We're not gonna kill you, but other things." And Sareb
exact quote.
Exact quote.
Sareb basically tells them to get fucked, and he uses.
No, he fucks them.
He thunderclaps. He literally thunderclaps them away.
Doesn't he use the magic TV remote for the spaceship?
He does. He uses the magic TV remote for the spaceship. Pulls a name of power, which is a returning trope. And it activates the spaceship self-defense force field, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And concusses the fuck out of some dudes.
Yeah, it like burns some of them like horribly because it's like presumably an energy shield.
Something like that.
And they like have to execute a couple of the severely wounded guys, and some other guys are like, they got to take them back to the city and all that jazz. But
fucking Kildum's doing triage at one point, which was interesting.
Yeah, competent characters. It's wild.
Again, yeah. I didn't know we were allowed to do that.
I feel like we're setting ourselves up for failure for reading other sword and sorcery novels going forward.
Yeah, there's too much sense. There's
I wouldn't be surprised if it's all downhill from here on.
There's too much good military sense in this place.
So what we're hearing is the Zamora military are some of the premier soldiers of the Hyborian Age.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
if they had flying spaceships, they'd fuck shit up.
They could have here if they would have captured it.
Well,
they could have. Alas.
So anyway, they regroup, and then Sonja and Keldum have their final battle with their Luke versus Vader.
And Luke versus Vader. If Vader wanted to fuck Luke, what the hell?
Costin was already talking about his grandma's tits earlier, so
Aging Dr. Freud.
Aging Dr. Freud.
Dr. Palpatine Freud.
Speaking of German weirdos.
They have a really good final battle scene.
He wanted to Uber her mensch.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, they have a face off. Also, Sonja spends the interlude training fucking Tiamat.
Oh, that's right.
That's true. That's true. Another metal reference. Hello.
There we go.
Because it's with
Opeth, we got Tiamat.
Because she wants to go kill Gevum because of what he did to her
for very good reason.
And I'm like, and Sonja's like, revenge doesn't actually help, and she's like, I don't care, I want to go fucking kill him, and she's like, all right, well, so here's
understandable.
Here's how you stab a bitch.
And I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah, totally.
And then Tiamu decides to take matters into her own hands.
Literally.
And goes into the city with the TV remote.
Yeah. She takes the sonic screwdriver.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there's a left-handed reference.
So she takes the sonic screwdriver into Iraq and into what city did you say it was?
I mean, there's multiple ones, but
there's insert whatever.
Yeah, but I guess it's Baghdad at this point.
Yes, it goes to Baghdad, and she has to hold up the thing for a certain amount of time.
She had no reception.
The star signals have to be right from the mother world. And
she wasn't on AT&T.
Right, she had to get on the Starlink satellite, and
there you go.
There you go. Yeah,
get it all connected with the ship and whatever. So,
and then what happens is bombs over Baghdad.
Iran, bomb Iran.
Shit.
Atom Bomb Baby starts playing, and
wow.
And
the amount of shitty references.
This entire podcast is just shitty references. Sorry, go on.
The city of
completely obliterated.
Completely.
And Sost is there to help Tiamu hold the wand up, because if she lowers it, then I don't fucking remember. Something
then they die,
happened.
basically.
Yeah.
So
they also get consumed.
Hold on, I can summarize this for you because I kind of liked it. So what's her name again? Tiamat. Yeah, she goes into the city with the wand. Some soldiers try to attack her again because the city is in full riot. ISIS is up in this bitch, and when a soldier tries to take her, she calls out the name that Soreb called out before, and it microwaves this dude.
Yeah, dude gets obliterated.
He goes fucking 1994 Mars Attacks.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Literally
another
that.
callback.
Which Mars Attacks actually crosses over with Red Sonja in a comic.
Fuck off. And
it's called Mars Attacks, Red Sonja.
Of course,
sure,
of course.
Sure, of course
it would be.
is. It would.
It's not good.
I didn't need you to tell me that to realize this. We cut back and forth between Sonja decapitating Khaldun to Tiamat in the streets of Baghdad. I mean, Elkad. Then she gets to the temple where the Zamorans have some hostages, and the rioters are trying to get them. And Gevim at some point says, "Stand back, you fools! We have your priests as hostages." And the crowd is like, "We don't give a shit," which is fair. And then Tiamu arrives with the wand in hand, obliterates Gevim soldiers, and then menacingly goes towards Gevim, threatens him, and she says, "Do you have any idea who I am? Do you remember me?" And Gevim just looks at her and goes, "Who?" I have no idea who you are. And Jim just delivers the best line of the whole book, which is, "Fine then, die unknowing."
Yeah.
Oh, it was badass, but she clicks the button on the remote and there's no reception.
Yeah, she's too deep into the city. The concrete walls.
Sure. The concrete walls are messing with her signal, but also in universe they made a whole thing about the stars aligning, and the star that she was
hadn't lined up yet.
Yeah, exactly. And this particular satellite goes behind another celestial body, which is growing ? In the sky, which turns out to be the star that the aliens are from. It turns into a crimson wormhole above the city itself,
because of course everything is red in Red Sonja.
Yeah, it would be.
The sand in that desert was probably red.
They're on Mars. Mars Attacks.
They're on Mars.
There you go. Mars Attacks.
Soreb releases the Earth folk. Sonja gives him shit for it.
Understandably.
Understandably. We'll get back to that. The Earth folk devour everybody in the city who is not
holding the wand.
Protagonist with speaking lines. Yes, and there's I guess, touching scene between Sost and Tiamu. They hold the wand together. She's touching. Like, "Oh, help me, Sost. I'm just a weak little girl. I can't hold this wand." And yeah, so they
the role of Sost will from now on be played by Johnny Sins.
Fuck.
It was him all along.
It was definitely him all along.
Get it all along? No? Okay.
No. I mean, I get it, but shut up. Anyway, the last concluding note that I have about this is that the exchange between Gevim and Tiamu at the end is like, and this is another callback to some internet apocrypha, but it's that little the "fuck you, Tony" sketch where it basically just goes, "Hey, what's your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony."
I do get that one. I do get that.
There we go.
Oh, good. Hey, guess what? What? Fuck you.
Die Unknowing is my Tiamat cover band.
Hey! Nice.
There we go.
And now, let's conclude this book.
Yeah.
You still with us?
I'm here, I guess. Yeah. What do you really want me to say about the end of this book?
How much did you like it?
It's okay. Sost and Tiamu go elope, and Red Sonja has to go her own way. Peth is going to train with Sareb to be, I guess, the next god on the mountain.
Yeah.
For whom, though, since there's no... That's what I was wondering.
I'm sure some other poor dumb fucks are gonna come settle in here.
Fair enough. Yeah, in the ruins.
Hey, look, an abandoned city. We could rebuild this place.
Huh. I wonder what's up on that mountain.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Here be dragons.
Here be dragons, yeah. So basically, the part that really...
what annoys you specifically?
Well, what annoyed me specifically is that when Sost comes to the mountain with Tiamu and Sonja and the girl have a tearful reunion.
A heart-to-heart.
A heart-to-heart, yeah. Soreb is over there kind of going... He's as saddened by committing genocide as I am by spilling my tea in the morning. So he's having a moment, and then Sost comes to deliver the line from the mirror ghost and says, "Oh yeah, he said to tell you these people are cockroaches and you shouldn't feel bad about genociding them. So it's okay, bro."
And he's suddenly better. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said "Oh, I feel much better now, actually."
Thanks for that.
Yeah. At that point, I kind of went, "Yeah, fuck you, book. Yeah, kind of fuck you." But the part that really pissed me off is that up to this point, Sonja was really angry at Soreb for doing this, and then when the cockroach line gets delivered, she just goes, "Yeah, you know what? Kind of fuck these people, actually."
They were okay with sacrificing virgins, fuck them.
Well, maybe she's just being a realist here and is like, you know what? This did kill everyone that was looking for me. So maybe this wasn't a bad exchange.
Listen, you're
I'm just...
And then we have the they ask where the Earth folk have gone.
Yeah.
And they say, "Gone from the earth, returned to the great star Kaifal, whence they came. They were created by the primal god Amadon to serve him in the gathering of souls from material worlds to feed his endless hunger. They were not meant for Earth, which is already saturated with its own pain demons, but were stranded here by accident. Now they have gone back to their master to share with him the feast of souls which they gathered here." And I'm like, what? How do you know all of this shit?
Yeah.
It's in the script.
Did he find the instruction manuals on the ship? Or what?
Listen, if this were a Lynn Carter book, we'd have annexes explaining this shit.
You're right.
But it's not, so they gotta exposition it.
Please,
that was the one good thing about it. No,
yeah, I appreciated the Lynn Carter index at the back. That was great stuff.
Yeah.
I especially loved when he cited real-world books that are not fiction.
And archaeological finds.
And archaeological finds for his fucking fantasy book.
There we go.
The most shit I've ever seen, and I love it.
It was pretty fucking dumb. But, yeah, so just to be clear about this, I understand the character's motivations. I suppose it's a worthwhile ideology to explore if you want, even in fiction, even in a book. What I didn't like was that even our protagonist, the woman that we're supposed to be rooting for, at the end goes, "Yeah, genocide's fine, actually."
Yeah, that's fair. Because Sonja is it is rather out of character for her.
Yeah.
Because the whole,
to be okay with genocide.
Yeah, well, the whole concept of Red Sonja is that she is a warrior of the people. She goes around and rights the wrongs of the world.
They actually call her Red Sonja not because of the hair, but because she's a communist.
I mean, kinda.
Oh my god.
Yeah, her full name is Sonja Che Guevara. As it
because Conan is much more of a anti-hero than Red Sonja is.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go with comic book garbage nonsense, it would be like Conan would be like your Deadpool, who's like a true anti-hero. He just does whatever the fuck
Chaotic
he wants.
neutral.
Yeah.
And then you would have Sonja would be like Wolverine. Wolverine's one of the good guys, but he does shit his own way, and he really skirts the line.
Yeah, she's the best at what she do, and what she do isn't very nice.
And I think that's why I slightly like Sonja more as a character than I do Conan. It's just because she's a little bit more heroic.
Yeah. Conan is an individualist. Sonja is a collectivist.
Yeah.
But yeah. I only have one more note, and that can go at the very end. So I have nothing else to add at this point.
Yeah, same. My notes have stopped a long time ago.
Oh yeah, same.
I will say that I thought the dynamic with the jumping back and forth between stuff that was happening in the city and the showdown on the mountain was engaging and dynamic and well done, and it kept building the right way. It built one aspect, then cut to the next, and built it, and then went back to the other one. So it was a really good technical piece of jumping between POVs. I enjoyed it.
To make another Star Wars reference here, it was like Return of the Jedi. Whenever you have the battle on Endor and the battle with Luke and Vader, just flipping back and forth, kind of seeing the ebb and flow of each battle as it goes on. Mm-hmm. It gave that kind of the guys that wrote this know what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, pretty well done.
Again, the book was well written.
Yeah.
You'll hear no disagreement from me on that.
I definitely think people should read this, but
yeah, with a huge caveat: if you're not okay with sexual violence, maybe skip this one.
I mean, we said that for Red Sonja overall.
Yes, but this one's even more so.
Yeah, because the first one, it's like this happened in the past. You get kind of sort of flashbacky things, but this one just happens in the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. It's front and center. Though, again, thankfully, doesn't get into details about it.
And it's actually useful to the plot. It's not some sort of gratuitous nonsense.
True.
Yeah.
True. So, my final note, then, is that at the end, when Sonja, as any good RPG protagonist, goes on to her next quest, she needs a horse, and Pef literally magically calls a horse from the ones that have escaped from the city. And a direct quote from the book is, "Many's the time I wish I had the talent to call a horse from nowhere." That's a quote from Sonja. And I said, then Sonja mounted her new horse and called her Roach.
Fair.
Because it basically pushes the whistle button and the horse shows up.
Her hair glinted white in the sunlight.
Anyway.
Fuck.
She does say fuck, actually.
She does say
Sonja does.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is it.
Yeah, I think I've got nothing else to add. I would still recommend the book. I think the ending sort of takes away from it. It seems like such a jump from the way the first one actually affects Sonja to this. With it still being the same kind of civilization destroying plot, because it is. We had Olin's town being destroyed in the first one, and then there's this whatever Bangladeshu town we settled on. Belka, there we go. El Kadishu got splattered because of reasons, and I think. Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a discrepancy in terms of how she takes it, how well she takes it this time around, and how the two, what do you call it, hermits remain on the mountain as if again nothing happened because they destroyed roaches. And I get the idea. They were rotten to the core. The town was. There's the internet bit about there's that crazy like demented I think speaker something that says the democracy of the people, by the people, for the people is a great idea, but the people are something that would get us canceled.
Yes.
So
a great video.
That's kind of where these people fit.
Yes.
So maybe a bit too extreme to wipe them all out, but you got to start with a clean slate somehow.
Did have to fall, yes.
Yeah. So I would have been better. I would have Camp. I would have taken this better if there were a bit more rumination after the fact, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. One thing that I do want to point out though that I forgot to mention. So like in the first book, we get Sonja realizes that she can actually love someone.
Yeah.
This book, we get Sonja realizes that she kind of like
she's bi.
No, that she sees Tiamu as like a daughter, and that's something that she never thought she would be able to have because her vow,
it's a different kind of love.
Yeah, we get to see another side of her that we don't normally see, but that's kind of overshadowed by the fact that Sonja doesn't act like herself at the end of the book.
Yeah,
very true. She does take Tiamu under her wing, and she does it with a kind heart, which is in stark contrast to the way she ends the book.
Yeah.
All right,
but there we go.
Yeah,
take us out.
That's about all the nonsense we have time for today. We hope to have you here next time. If you want to follow the page and keep up with the podcast or the rest of the content we post every week, you'll find all relevant links in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and have as nice a day as you deserve.